Oh, I love you too, Romeo.
That's actually a good start for every meeting when Romeo comes and says, I love you to all our viewers. So we are live and Lisa already joined us. So hello, Lisa.
Hello, Lisa. Hi there. Are you talking to me up there, little girl? Hi, Jazz. Hello. Well, we have Romeo here. He decided he wanted to get on my lap. That's a rarity, isn't it, big boy? Hmm? You let me pick him up and put him on my lap. Hey, Romeo, beautiful Romeo bird. Yes, he is. Super chicken. Hello, super chicken.
So it looks like we have a special guest today. It's Voice for Animals. I read the comment before he wrote under one of our videos, and he said it's in the middle of the night for him. So about, I don't know, 1 or 2 o'clock. So we are happy to have you here. Welcome. And then Michelle joined us and Falconsu is here.
Hello, guys. No news at this point. I've given the lender everything I can, and he wanted me to change one thing that can't be changed at the paycheck company. So we don't know. We'll find out later. Just kind of waiting for him to call. I'm not calling him at this point. He's got to make the decisions. So, but we know what we'll do if we don't get it. We're gonna try another lender, and then I'm gonna go have the realtor find us a place to stay out there. So that'll be the next thing. We'll get out there one way or the other, and then we'll go from there. Right, birds. Yep, you're gonna use your birdie magic and make it all happen. Are you, Sal? Big Sal. Sugar, you must be up. Yeah, she's looking over my shoulder. Yeah, I know. I hear you up there. I hear the girl. Rome, you okay? Hold on, I got to pet Rome or he'll get off my lap. It's okay. It's all right. You can stay right there. It's okay. All right, Rome. That little Romeo. Hi, sweetheart.
Mr. I love you. So a beautiful life is here. Hello.
Hi, everybody. Yeah, he's looking pretty calm considering. You don't want to do that. Get up here or you're going to scare him away. Getting that Romeo on the lap is not the easiest thing to do. Is it, Romeo? Is it, big boy? Sometimes I feel it's easier to start a company to make space that does space travel and make trips to the moon than it is to try to. Oh, thank you, Patricia. Much appreciated for that super chat. It's easier to get a flight to the moon than it is to get a mortgage. So I don't know. And there's other lenders I can try out there too, but it'll be a little different. I don't know if I can get them to do the VA thing. So, but we're not going to worry about it right now. We'll see another couple of days. We'll know. Right, Romeo. Looks like Romeo's all ready to go. Are you ready to go, Rome?
I think Romeo would love to be finally in his very own home.
Yeah, in his own cage. Would love to be in his own cage. He does not like the small cage. He's not happy with it. Are you, big boy? Are you? I've got to trim his beak, and he's been fighting me on that, but I got to get it done today, one way or another. I don't want to scare him. He's making such good headway as far as sitting in my lap, and now I'm going to try to get that beak clipped and trimmed. Right, boy?
And here's Erin. Hello.
Hello, Erin. So be aware that I might get a phone call from the real estate agent or the lender, so I may have to pick it up.
So let's see. Voice for Animals says, I love Dawn and the birds.
Thank you.
Today we have a great fan here. I think all of our chatters are great fans. And the birds are always happy to see you. Look at them all piling up before the fan.
Hey, Rome, you okay? So if we stop petting Rome, he'll want to get down. That's the way he is. You okay, big boy? Are you okay? Big sweetheart. Yeah, his paranoia is pretty strong, and that's the thing. If anybody else was trying to care for him, if he gets scared, he'll bite, and he doesn't bite for any other reason, just when he's scared. So he'll tell you to get away when he's frightened, and if you don't listen, then he's gonna strike, and that's just because he's afraid he's gonna get hurt. He's always been that way. Yeah. At least all the time I've known him. He's gotten better, and then he's gotten worse. Right now he's in between. On a scale of 7, he's about a 3. Oh, I heard that, Jazzy Jazzbird. You can't mess with
a jazzy song.
That's the Jazzy I want something. I'm trying to pet Rome. Yeah. Oh, I hear you up there.
And a sugar wine.
I'm sorry, Shug. If I pet you, then Roman will leave. And Jazz, what are you doing? Well, she's trying to figure out how to get past Cause, and I don't know if that's going to work.
Yeah, Miss Quassy's determined.
I think she wants Cause to preen her. That's not going to work. Yeah.
Well, Quassy can preen.
Oh,
but she's more a barber, right?
Yeah.
That's the problem.
She's a barber. I want her preening. No, you don't want her to preen you. You don't. She'll pull your feathers. She will.
But I like how the sugar is appearing behind you. There's the Shug. Look at that happy Shuggy.
Oh, she's not happy. She wants to get preened or petted, and I'm not doing it.
Yeah, the Shuggy can be quite hilarious. So last week, Don actually had in Southern California some rain, and it rained actually a little bit into the aviary when he was outside with the birds. And now guess what? The 2 Moluccans, Sugar and Manda, got all up crazy for it, and Manda did all his shower dance in the rain, and Sugar was hanging at the bars and trying to catch some raindrops and actually drank the rain. So they had so much fun. Huh, Shuggy? Can you be a funny bird? Oh, she can.
Oh, he's not going to preen you. Don't even think about it. He's not going to preen you. No. He's not going to do that. These pink birds, boy, they just think that the white ones are just there to preen them. Hello, servant. How about a preen? But Romeo's not going to preen you. I can guarantee that. He won't do that. I know you want to be petted, girl. I know. It's all right, Rome. That's just the tail feathers. She's not meaning to hurt you. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay, big boy.
So Michelle says she would, if she had the materials, she would build you a house. Lisa says you are the best cockatoo daddy, and everyone agrees.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. I was telling one of the people involved in trying to get me a loan that I wouldn't care if I lived in a doghouse, but I want the birds to have a place to live, you know?
Oh, and GTH is here.
Yeah, GTH. Hi, Rome. Hi, Romeo. Mm.
And he says Lucy is aligned over Don's head. Lucy. Tuk, 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 tuk. And I think I can see a Lorelei pacing up and down.
Hey, hey, hey. Okay over there, girl? Mander, be nice.
Oh, and Aditya is here. She is asking, where's Babalu? He's a tiger trapped in a cockatoo's body.
He's inside. Watch it down. Cause, what are you doing by my feet? Causey.
Yeah, actually, the cockatoos come out in 2 shifts to avoid confrontations. Therefore, now we call them the girls who are out, but of course, not all are girls. Romeo is not a girl, and who else? Of course, Salamander is not a girl, but well, he's an honorary girl. Let's say it that way. And later, Babaloo, Cecil, Snowball, and Pippa come out, and therefore Lorelei and Cosy go in to avoid commotion.
Yeah, that will probably all change once we get into a new location. I say new location because I don't know if we're going to get the house or not, but once we get into a new place out in there in Nevada, I would imagine that after a couple of months, I'll be able to get them all out at the same time. May take a little longer, but it's just the stress of being in those tiny cages that's making them a little more aggressive. And mating season hasn't helped either. But right, Lorelei? Whoa, whoa! There goes Rome. He's down. Down for the count.
Romeo.
Romeo, what are you doing? What you doing? Hi, Rome. Hi. Hi, big boy. Romeo. Good boy. Lorelei, you went back over? Come on. Okay. You got your spot back? Okay.
We have a question from Lisa. She asks, is a cockatoo sick if it doesn't have much feather dust?
You two quit fighting up there.
Don?
I know. I'm trying to stop the fight.
Sorry.
Okay. Sometimes Salamander gets a little territorial about his spot up there. I've never heard of that being one of the conditions, but feather condition can indicate there's a problem. And feather dust is part of feather condition. So if you have a cockatoo that isn't producing much dust, it wouldn't hurt to go in and have blood work done and just check them out and make sure they're okay if they haven't been checked out recently. Because I do look at feather condition. I've never actually had a bird that didn't have enough dust, though. As you can tell by my coughing today, plenty of dust. You want to come over here again, Ron? No? Okay. Yeah, I would definitely have it. Just have them checked out if they haven't had a visit in the year, and make sure the poop is okay and their weight. Check their weight every day just to make sure that their weight isn't going down. Because as Dr. Young said, he didn't enjoy seeing birds too much because people kept bringing him birds that were dying. Well, my bird's been on
Mm.
the bottom of the cage for a week. Well, yeah, okay. So what size coffin do you want? You know, but if you're looking to see if they have enough feather dust, you're obviously not one of those people. You're aware that there are issues. So yeah, I'd check it out. If I noticed that somebody wasn't producing feather dust, I would definitely check it out.
Probably there are many people out there who are wondering that it is so dusty since they have the cockatoo.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of people doing that. Because it's not like the stores where people, where they're being sold, or people who are trying to relinquish their bird to you, like, oh, you can have my bird. They're not going to tell you the problems they've got. So
Yeah, the knowledge about birds or parrots in the general population is really insufficient.
yeah, it's almost zero, sadly. And then when you get to the community of people who have birds, it's maybe they might have 5% knowledge. And we're lucky if that, how to feed and how to check for disease and illness. Those are the two things that are the most critical. They've got to get the right food, and then they've got to be checked for disease. But there's a lot of other factors too. Are they in the right environment? Are they being challenged so that they're not bored? Do they have enough enough space in the room they're in so that it looks a little on the airy side, unlike the one these guys are inside now? That place looks like it's built kind of like a tomb. It's so small. So trying to have
yeah.
I
We love you too, Romeo. Oh, we love you so much. We love you. There's another question from Aditya. The question is there any general difference between male and female cockatoos? Are males more hormonal and unstable compared to female?
No, there's some differences in behavior, but they're about the same. Males can be just as cuddly as females. Males can be, when they get hormonal, I shouldn't say that. We call that mating behavior because we can't take their blood out, every day and see where their hormone levels are. So I was taught not to say hormonal, but the mating behavior of a male is different than female. A female will cluck and kind of hunch down, a male will spread their tail and whack you with their beak, that kind of thing, or they will rub you with their beak, that kind of. There's differences in behavior, but as far as most of their behavior is quite similar. Males and females are basically just as friendly, and a lot of it has to do with enculturation. Were they treated properly when they were young, which is unlikely because they were at breeders. Most of these guys were bred by somebody who doesn't know what they're doing. Well, they know how to make money, but they don't know what they're doing as far as making these guys sane. So no, I think they're males and females are about the same. This guy right here, he'll come up and cuddle you. I mean, he'll say if there's not a lot of other birds around, he'll just sit and cuddle all day. The same with salamander. He's a big cuddler. I hope that answered the question. I'm not sure I understood the exact direction where we were going with that, but
I think that was basically all about, that was the topic of the question. If there are any differences in cockatoos, because from the look, female and male look basically identical. It's only if the females are properly raised, then their eyes are brownish compared to the males who have black eyes. But other way from just looking, at least to our human eyes, we don't know if cockatoos see themselves different, but to our human eyes they look completely the same. So yeah, hard to judge.
Yeah. As long as the young bird gets enough iron in their diet when they're young, then the females will have a lighter colored eyes. Males are almost black in the coloring, and the color of the females will be brown. Some of them quite strikingly different, like Lucy. And then obviously they behave a little differently when they're acting with mating behavior. So males are a little more aggressive, although a female will come and plop on you and start vibrating. That's kind of aggressive when you think about it, but it's just a different kind of aggression. I think the biggest problem is if you have more than two, a female and a male, you don't want them to get together. It causes a lot of psychological issues that you don't want to deal with. And generally in captivity, the males will they'll become aggressive to the female over time. So maybe it'll be good for them for a short time. You're not going to raise anything unless you're going to do what the breeders do, and you don't want to do that. They're not going to raise their own young in most environments. And they don't know how to either, because they were bred and not taught. They didn't live in a flock. They didn't watch the process, so they don't know how to do it. But what happens over time, the male will become aggressive, then you'll have to separate them, and then the female becomes unhappy. So you're better off, if you're going to have them, to have all males or all females.
Yeah, Aditya answered about, she says, thanks, Don. I have come across a narrative that females are more docile. She was the one who questioned about the difference between male and female cockatoos. And I hear such prejudices often too. It's also in Parchies, they say, oh no, don't get the females. They don't play and don't talk and all that kind of stuff, but they can be as sweet as the boys. It's just when you have females, then you have to be aware they can lay eggs, even if there is not a male bird around. And sometimes it can occur that the egg gets stuck, so you need to be prepared for that emergency.
Yeah, it's a life-threatening emergency when you have an egg that's bound inside the bird. So, and they don't form a shell until the last day either. So they form everything else, and then the shell forms the last day before they produce it. So, hold on a sec here.
That's Eleanor coming.
Yep. You watch yourself there. Now, you can see Lorelei's pretty busy around you. This is a female, and she's busy. If Coco were still around, you could really see a bird that's in charge. That was a female that had basically ran the inside sanctuary, the playroom. She would make sure that everybody behaved, and she was one of the strongest umbrellas I've ever seen in my life, as far as just an amazing personality that could handle situations. And I've never seen a male come close to that. But that's individual personalities, and that's what they are. They're individuals, right, Lorelei? No, don't start. Now we got mating behavior. Lorelei, hello. I may have to put her up on a rope to stop her. Lorelei, come on. Let's go up on the rope. You don't need to do that. It's not good for you. She's been neutered, so it's really not good for her to do this. That doesn't stop the behavior, though, but because she still has her ovaries, and she's still making hormones. That's for sure, right, little girl? Did you want to come back over? Come on.
Lisa has a question. She wants to know if egg bounding happens in the wild too.
That's a question I don't think anybody has an answer to. I don't think there's any biologists out there who've been able to document that.
It probably can occur there too, I think.
I imagine.
But it's deadly to them, so probably hard to yeah, to overview. And in the wild, when you see there, the cockatoos lay maybe 1 or 2 eggs per year, and then they get probably nourished and grew up right. So I think the risk of it is lower than in captivity, because when you see how much eggs they can lay in captivity, I think Don knows a little bit about that problem at the moment.
Yeah, Pippa.
We have mommy Pip.
Yeah, Pip is a single mom of 6.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah, Aditya says she has heard about that problem too. She knows a female macaw that does guarding the eggs all the time. So yeah, that's the thing you sometimes have to deal with when you have females.
And the big
birds,
problem,
I mean.
Yeah, the big problem with Pippa is that she's got to get back into her regular cage and get out of a cage that doesn't have a wire at the bottom. So she's sitting on paper, and that's part of the problem. She's able to nest. I've got to break that nesting, and so we got to get out of here for her health. And I mean, that's not the only reason, but it's a big reason. And I think too, in the wild, they get exercise, where even in this situation, they're not getting enough exercise. We have somebody said they will donate another aviary to us and enlarge this one if we get moved. And so that's a lot of money, but they're willing to do it if we get moved. So
yeah, when you look at the videos of them in the wild, they're just on the move constantly. So the amount of exercise they get in captivity just really doesn't compare.
Yeah, they get almost nothing in captivity. Even Lorelei, who flies around a lot, except in mating season, she gets some flight exercise in here, but still, this is only a 10-foot run. We could easily double the size of this to get, enough flight into these birds and lower the ropes down. So I have to do the limbo more, but that's okay. And then take these other things out and, just put them down lower so that they have an area to fly in. There isn't much flight space in here, so it doesn't make any sense not to have extra perches. But if we get this thing extended, we will make it the upper section for flight. And
I think Cossie will be delighted.
too. Yeah, Kaz likes to fly. Pippa likes to fly. I mean, you can tell they are enjoying themselves when they're flying. But
yeah, Snowball is he can fly.
Oh yeah, he's a real flyer too.
Cecil doesn't know he's a bird.
No, but he can get trained. That's the Cecil. Yeah, they all can. Anyone who's got the ability to fly can get trained. So
and Babalu can fly too. So I think Babalu would be happy.
I think the thing with Cecil is it's hard to know whether learning to fly would make him completely unmanageable or if it would just help him calm down a lot.
Oh, well, he'd be more difficult to manage, but he won't be unmanageable. If I can manage him now in the situation he's in, I can manage him, on the moon. Because he is ever since Peaches passed away, he has just not been a friendly bird. I mean, he comes up and he plays with me, but I took a nap out here. I was tired from having to do a bunch of work for trying to move. And so I took a nap for about a half an hour. The whole time he whacked me with a ball.
He never used to do that.
No, it's as far as whacking me occasionally, I taught him to do that so he wouldn't bother the other birds. But now it's
not
just
when you're asleep.
No, now he doesn't care. And I think he's heard her voice, unfortunately, because I do sometimes my AirPod you can hear her voice when I'm editing a video or something. And he thinks I've got her somewhere, maybe. I don't know what he thinks, but something's going on in his head that it's not right about Peaches. And he won't go over into that spot where she used to hang out. If he gets over there, he starts looking like, whoa, I don't belong here. He runs away. So
Yeah, I think it's hard for him because he knows that she's meant to be there, but then he can't really explain to you how he's feeling.
Yeah.
Mm.
So I guess the only way he can express himself is by bashing you.
And torturing me when I have to give Bob his food and, change his food out after I've done everyone else because I have to get the table out of there. He'll grab my clothing through the bars because the table lets his legs get close enough to do that. He grabs my clothes and then he just won't let go. And he's acting like it's cage territoriality, but it really isn't. I know him. So it's something a little different, something going on in his head about me. And somehow I'm tied up in what happened to Peaches to him, I think. But
I think it's hard as well because, if you show him videos and play sounds and things, then on the one hand, he knows, okay, we've not forgotten about her. But then if he thinks you've done something with her, then he might think that you're trying to bother him or something. It's hard to know what he thinks.
it's hard to know. He's a smart one, that's for sure. He knows that something doesn't add up, and it's probably the fact that there are videos and that kind of thing that have done it. But there's no way to know. You can't get inside their heads. Can't get inside another human's head, let alone inside what a bird's thinking.
Yeah, GTH would like to know if Cecil could fly with a large toy.
Yeah, he could.
He'd find a way.
Yeah. Oh, he would. I mean, I don't think he has a problem as long as it doesn't weigh the same. A piece of wood or one of those balls, I'm sure he could fly with them.
And Aditya wants to know if you are planning to write a book because she has so many questions to ask you, Don.
I'm not planning on it right now. I'm planning on a podcast that has nothing to do with birds because I'm trying to bring in some more money to take care of them. But
one day, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. There is a good book. I'll have to get you the name of it. That I had somebody who's a longtime rescuer sent me, and it was produced by the Avian Welfare and a couple of other groups. And it is just an excellent book on parrots in the wild. And I just started it, but it's an actual physical book. So I can only read it when they're not out and I'm not dealing with them. So
not with the Cecil.
But it looks like a tremendous book and it just recently was published. So it might be what you're looking for. It's not necessarily about having them in captivity though. It's about them in the wild, but we don't have much about that, honestly. There's the parrots of Lokio, and there's some scientific treatises and stuff, but there's nothing else, abstracts, that kind of stuff. But as for much about parrots in the wild, I was shocked at how much information is in there. It's going to be a great read.
I think actually we missed a question from Aditya earlier who said, male Moluccans are known to kill their mates despite being monogamous, both in captivity and in the wild. So I've not actually heard of that happening in the wild, but I think in captivity, it definitely happens, as you well know, Don.
Yeah, if you have any information on that, send it to me because I've not seen that.
Yeah, if you have an actual scientific paper about it, that would be fabulous.
Yeah, I don't want anything that's like a newspaper reporter reporting on it or something like that. Those guys don't know their toes from their fingers. I just say something polite. What is sad.
Yeah, and I think we haven't welcomed Laura is in chat and Birds Maria is in chat. So welcome, good to have you. And I'm sorry, I think I just was corrected. I think I told Aditya, I always said she, and actually it's a male name, so I'm sorry for that. So got completely, I don't know.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, if there's a
in most languages it's going to be female, so that's a good assumption. But
yeah. I know someone called Aditi who is a female. But
So
yeah,
sometimes I think I try to say often he or she if I have no idea, but when I'm here busy with writing and talking, sometimes I forget it and then I just talk rubbish. So please correct me in chat if I did.
yeah. And this is the thing, we've got people from all over the world. So sometimes if you've got a name that we don't know, then we might get it wrong. But please do let us know if it bothers you. Otherwise, we'll just pick a pronoun at random, I guess. I mean, I tend to call people everybody, so I guess that covers all bases.
Oh, Romeo. I can't, whenever I stop petting Romeo, he looks at me like, why did you stop? And it's such a rarity to have him come over and just want to be petted. Yeah, I would be surprised to hear that, because everything I've read so far shows that that's not the case. In the manual of parrot behavior, the section they have on male aggression specifically says it's not been seen in the wild. So, and these reporters, in the United States, especially in the United States, they got rid of all their science reporters. They have, it's kind of like when I was going to school, and you go in to take history and they've got the gym teacher teaching history, and he doesn't know any more about history than he does. He knows the plays on the field of the American football and that kind of thing, but he doesn't know anything else. And so they give you the feeling that history is boring. And they tell you things that aren't true. I think I was told that silly thing that George Washington chopped down a cherry tree. That's a big story. That never happened. But so since we don't have any science writers, we have these idiots that have to do two different things. They're not really journalists. They're just, making money for the paper or the news media. And they really don't know what they're doing. So I don't believe anything that the normal media says about the science, because they would, they're just taking whatever looks sensational and putting it in the paper to make a buck. So if somebody saw one case in the wild where a Moluccan male attacked a female, well, there you go. One case, and they'll blow it up into a big one. So you got to have a scientific abstract where actual scientists, biologists are studying them. And I'm not going to accept anything outside that realm, especially coming from the New York Times or the Washington Post or Der Spiegel or, sorry.
Some chatters are missing the Cecil boy.
Although I shouldn't have said Der Spiegel, because from what I understand, I don't know about the rest of their news, they still have science writers. In Europe, I think you guys still have science writers. They don't in the US, they don't anymore. They're gone.
Someone is asking for Don's email address. I just look it up, but I think it's for the don@chloesanctuary.org. Wait,
that's it. I love you too. You just want me to keep petting you, don't you?
I'll just type it in one moment.
Who do you love? Who do you love? He used to say when I said who do you love, but he won't do that anymore. No, he won't do it because he's upset with me for giving him that medicine. Like one time I gave him alprazolam. You'd think it was the end of the world.
Oh, Romeo, we all love you. We do, we do.
See, that beak's for the guy to get cut too.
Oh, we love the Romeo.
That much today.
He's a sensitive little soul, isn't he?
He is. He's a very sensitive boy. I said very, and I gotta pay myself.
Have to put $1 in the very jar.
Yeah.
Oh, there was a message from Laura Bordas who says in cockatoos, males have black eyes and females have brown iris. So, and then Voice for Animals says, oh, is that so? I didn't realize. So maybe, Don, if you can get a close up on Lucy, we can see some of those beautiful eyes. Oh, beautiful girl, Lucy. So you can see they're red like rubies.
And I do that. He won't let me. There we go.
Oh, wow. That's
And there's
Manda.
yeah, there's Manda, so that's a boy.
Oh, honorary girl.
Yeah, an honorary girl, and Pippa's an honorary boy, but she also has lovely red eyes. So beautiful, Lucy.
Yeah, the only exception to that is if they don't get iron. The females don't get iron in their diet properly because some of these breeders, you're feeding them trash food like sunflower seeds and corn. I've seen it at a bird store that's no longer in existence in Escondido, not far from here. And if you don't give them enough iron in their diet, then their eyes won't turn red. So it's not an absolute guarantee. If you see a cockatoo with dark eyes and you think, oh, that's a male, it might not be.
But if it has red eyes, it's definitely a female.
Definitely, yes.
Or when it lays an egg, like Cosy did once.
That's true.
That's true.
Cosy came as a boy as Cosmo, and I think close after arriving, she laid an egg for Don, so it was clear.
And Cecil came in as a girl called Cecilia. And then, we soon figured out that was wrong.
It was.
So you see, lots of birds are mistyped.
It was worse. It was worse than that. The people who had him. This is a story I was told. People who had him were trying to breed birds for money. Okay, so they were naming the birds AA, BB, CC, DD. In other words, they didn't want to get close to them, so they were just giving them 2 letters of the alphabet put together. So they said that it was a female who did not lay eggs, so they were going to get rid of her, right? So these people took her, so-called her, and they didn't know anything, but they knew that she wasn't being taken care of where she was. So they took her, and then somebody else took her and then brought her down to me. And then, so I was told she was female, and rather quickly realized that wasn't the case. But because her name was Cece, they were calling her Cece. I went Cecilia, so I started calling her Cecilia. And then I found out, he was male, so I changed it to Cecil. But
it's kind of funny because his personality now is so obviously not female.
No, it's Cecil is not female. He is a womanizer a little bit.
yes.
Although I think you do find with parrots, like sometimes they'll do the mating behavior of the opposite sex, and that can happen. So some of them are just kind of like it both ways, I guess.
A Beautiful Life had a question about if you could educate with cockatoos, visit with cockatoos in schools, the one who are brave enough and educate the children about cockatoo care.
I actually had done that. I can't do it here, obviously, but I have done that. I've taken birds into Coco and took Coco and Bob actually went into a couple of schools where we were in Fallbrook and educated the kids. Bob is great.
Sweet.
Yeah,
I imagine Bob loves children.
Well, you wouldn't want to do it inside the sanctuary, anywhere in his territory. But when he's outside his territory, he's wonderful with kids. And so was Coco. So, but of course, you know what the kids are. Do they talk? Do they talk? Do they talk? And my first.
And then there was another question: if cockatoos have a iodine problem, I think was it? I just don't find it anymore because there's a lot going on in chat. But
yes,
I think it was iodine.
Yeah, do cockatoos have iodine problems? But I'm not sure exactly what that refers to. That was Birds Maria and Sunshine TV who asked that. So if you can clarify, that would be fabulous.
Never heard of a bird that had an iodine problem. I could see that could happen if they were away from they're used to. If you're close to the ocean, then you're going to get the iodine in the air because it comes around in the air. from the ocean. But if you're inland, way inland, like where we're going to be, you have to make sure that's in their diet. Pellets usually contain that, though. So if you've got good pellets like Zupreme or Missouri pellets, you shouldn't have to worry about that.
Can parrots eat kelp?
As far as I know, I've never fed them kelp, but I would not do it until I looked it up, but I don't see why they wouldn't be able to. Kelp obviously has iodine, depending on what part of the world you're in. Tomato.
Potato.
Aluminum.
Oh, that's a fair. The one that gets me in English is where people say, they're going to iron their clothes, but it's spelled IRON, which would be iron. They're going to iron you.
I think such kind of words are in every language. In Germany, it's like about when it comes to CH at the beginning of a word, if it's spelled as like SCH, like sh, or like K. So there are really words like going on, like, is it said chemie or chemie? So you can get into trouble when you do it wrong with certain people.
Well, the thing with English is or at least people who have, the sort of stereotypical British accent, like what I have, is we don't pronounce the letter R. So if you say baker or, something like that, where it's BAKER. And I think it's the same in New York as well. So we and they would say baker with like an H on the end, but then it's actually baker with an R.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't say it, so that means that it's really hard. Because I'm trying to learn Norwegian, and in Norwegian you have to pronounce the letter R, and I keep saying it in all the wrong places. So you just, if you don't grow up using that distinction, then you don't learn it.
I was up in Washington State for 4 months, and one of the people I was working with was mentioning my Southern accent, and I said, "Southern accent? I don't have a Southern accent." And they said, "Well, okay, say this sentence." And so I said, "So just repeat after me." I said, "Okay." I said, "I went to the store for bread." And I said, "Well, I went to the store for bread." And they went, "What's fur bread?"
Fur bread.
Because up there they say, "I went to the store for bread." But in Southern California, you say, "I went to the store for bread." So
I love you too, Romeo.
Yes, I do.
So I would say pho bread, like FUH. Like I went to the shops for bread.
Yeah, language is fun. I love languages. Don't you, Lorelai? She says no.
Good night, Voice for Animals. It's really late for you, I know. Thank you so much for joining, and we hope to see you once again somewhere in the future. I think when we are in the new home, then we can do a little switch in the time, so that for people where it is in the middle of the night or absolutely not reachable, so we can do at least one live or so at another time, so everyone can join.
Also, it depends on the weather as well, because I think it's been cold in Southern California, so that's why it's the girls who are out and not the boys.
Yeah, when we get wherever we're going, I still don't know, but when we get where we're going, which we'll be doing within a month, I hope. I better be, because I don't think we can stay here any longer than that. We should have a room where they can be let out. If it's our own home, it'll be easier, because if it's for rental property, you got to be more careful. Because I can fix things if it's our own home. If it's a rental property, they're going to be like, "Oh, the birds are tearing this up." Yeah, I can fix that. But then we can have meetings inside, regardless of the weather. So
there's another question. If you were active on MyToos before it went down some time ago.
No, I did refer people to that website if they wanted to get a bird and they wanted to see the negative side of getting a cockatoo or a parrot. That was a good place to go. They had a lot of pictures showing people with immense wounds. These are people who didn't know what they were doing, obviously. And people who had their lips ripped open and all kinds of fun stuff. They had pictures of terrible things that had been done by cockatoos. Not, and as it said on the website, it wasn't the fault of the cockatoo. It was the lack of understanding of the person involved. There was one lady I met who was a rescuer, and we were in, like, in that scene in Jaws where Robert Shaw starts to show, well, the different wounds that he has, and Richard Dreyfuss, they're going back and forth showing all these different wounds they've had. And we were doing that, and she showed me this line she had in her lower lip. It was about 1 inch long. It was perpendicular to her chin. So, and it had been a Moluccan male who she had just got him, and he was a mess, and he'd been taught to be violent by the people who had him. She fell asleep in the chair. She had a cold, and she woke up as he split her lip. And she looked at me and she goes, "I super glued it." She said, "I just super glued it back together." And she said that's the bird she trusts the most now. That's what she said. She said, "That bird I trust completely. I would let him roam around my body anytime if I was asleep or awake, sit on my shoulder. He'll defend me." Just so after.
And also, if you went to hospital, then super glue is what they'd use anyway. So. So save yourself the trip.
Yeah, there is a medical super glue that works better. I've got some of that for the birds if there's an emergency, but yeah, super glue will do it. Regular old super glue will work just fine. I love you too.
I love you. Oh, my
Oh, I love you
such
too,
a sweet
Romeo.
boy.
Yeah,
He's so charming.
He's just not
He's
ready.
super charming today.
Hi, baby boy. How are you? A good boy.
So I
That's
just
nice.
post once again our Linktree link, where all our links are basically combined, so you can find our website and all our social media appearance, a lot of useful websites we recommend, and of course all our fundraising websites, because we still are fundraising and for the move. And yeah, we hope it happens soon, right, Lucy?
Yeah, just trying to buy a home has been kind of expensive. We've had to spend a little bit.
Permanent home for the sanctuary after last year was not the best year of the sanctuary. No. We were flooded and ended up now in a temporary home, and now try to get finally a permanent home, because we researched a lot and it looks like a lot of sanctuaries and rescues face the same problems as we do. They are in some kind of temporary home, and to continue the work and really keep the birds safe where they should be, it's necessary to finally get into a permanent home. And yeah, we are working for that. Manda says he wants his own house.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it comes to move. It takes about 5 hours to tear this thing down and get it onto a truck. So get the aviary into a new location. Probably have to tear it down, take it to storage, and then get everything that we've got into storage, then get the truck and load everything from there. That's what I'm guessing. If I can get a 21-foot stake bed, because I don't really think a 15-foot will work this time. Because we're going to make one trip, not two. Right, Mander? Mander would know. Mander, great salamander bird. I know, Roman. He's over there with his head down. Have you forgotten about me?
Oh, Laura says she thinks cockatoos are the best among all parrots. Well, I think a lot of people think that I like cockatoos too. They are hilarious, but actually I could not decide for one parrot species because I love how macaws look. And a short time ago I watched a documentation about some parakeets who actually breed at the very south of America, South America, on the coast. What was the name? Smaragd parakeet or so. 70,000. A huge colony goes there to breed at the coast, and it's so fascinating. They are pretty much everywhere, parrots, and there are these funny guys in New Zealand, the Kias who disassemble cars while the people have their cars in the parking lot and go for skiing. The Kias say, "Oh, we do an inspection," completely disassemble the car.
And then there's the cockatoos as well.
Oh
Sure.
yeah.
They're very silly.
Yeah. And if you ever go to, that are cockatoos, to the Christmas Island, I think that's where the tritons come from. So you will meet all the cousins from Bob and Pippa, and they will keep you up.
They're entertained. I'm going to go ahead and start moving birds. I'm going to set the camera up. Lorelei's trying to do mating behavior on my lap again, so I'm going to take her.
No.
Mm-hmm. Do you
Take
change
her
the
in.
birds?
Yep.
Oh, Lisa, so when Don is letting the video on, so you might get a glimpse of your favorite boy, Cecil. Usually when he gets out, the first thing he does is having a look into the bucket and getting out a toy. But after he broke his toy, I think yesterday, after 10 seconds, Don decided, so that was the last toy for a couple of days, weeks, we don't know.
No fighting.
Is that Cos, I think? Looks like, yep, there's a Cosy. She's bouncing her head. She went for a little play. And someone's screaming.
Oh yeah, Laura says they have wild parrots in Florida. I think that are parrots who were formerly captive one and escaped and now built up their flocks.
And it looks like Mander is running back and forth on his rope.
Oh, Mander. Come on, are you spinning again, Mander?
So Cosy's still hanging on the front of the ovary, climbing up. Someone's still screaming. I don't know who. I'm assuming it's Lucy.
Probably. She likes to scream when Don is away. And Aditya has some kind of same phrase than Don when he describes twos are 2 years old with scissors on the mouth and loudspeaker in the neck.
Yeah, that's about right.
Absolutely true. Yeah, Mander's rain dance, GTH just mentioned it. So if you haven't seen the video, there's a short out now for everyone, and I think a longer video for the members where Mander does his rain dance. Mander loves when some days before we had rain and it rained into the aviary, and Mander was, he was hilarious. He just loved it.
He loved it. Oh, now he's spinning.
Yes, and Romeo is escaping beforehand, and I think Cosy is watching us, or is that Lucy?
No, that's Cosy at the front, and Lucy is opposite Mander, who's now flapping.
Oh, and now someone is severely flapping. Who's that?
I think that was Mander flapping.
Oh wow!
Because I think I can see Sugar and Jasmine both perching.
Oh, how sweet! That was a big rouse. Cosy, she is hiding back there and says, "No, I don't want to go in."
She's wondering who's going to come out that she can attack like a cruise missile.
Mm.
Oh, there's a hand.
It's a hand that's putting a tripod. I've got my little tripod here, and I always
Oh.
forget to bring it out, but probably get a better shot that way. Get my hand out of the way. There we go.
Uh-huh. Excellent.
Cause, come here. Come on, Cause. Come on, Cause. Ozzy, come here.
Cosy, fly to your dad.
You could fly over, Cosy.
There she is. Oh, there's a head bounce. What a good girl. I think that's Sugar hanging by the door.
Oh, that might be. She likes to hang out.
Yeah. And Romeo's going back on his perch, I think. Bye, Cos.
Hello.
Yeah, he probably figured out that at the other side of the aviary only the Moluccan mafia is working on, so better go back.
Oh, look at Sugar climb.
Mm.
And Salamander's still spinning
Yes.
and running up and down. Oh,
And now he got trouble with Lucy. Lucy said no.
she said, how about you don't run up and down? How about you stay in one spot?
And Mendes, so whatever, la la la.
I expect Amanda's frightened of Lucy, though.
Yeah. Auntie Sugar, rescue me. There's the Shug now in front of us.
She's come back to where the food bowls are.
Yeah. Well, look how long the Shuggy is.
Even though there's no food in the food bowls, she likes to come and sit by them. Oh, look at Mandy yelling and flapping. Goodness me.
That's funny. Aditya says, unpopular opinion, but why do all African greys look like drug dealers and all cockatoos like regular customers?
I think the Moluccans are definitely the customers.
Yeah. Oh, there's Mommy Pip.
Oh, Pip Pip.
Here you go, Pip Pip girl.
Yeah, African greys, they all look bossy. That really describes them.
But they look shady. It's like they know stuff that they shouldn't.
Yeah. Oh, I just love them.
Oh, there goes
But there you
Pip.
see, there's so many interesting parrots all around the world.
Yeah, they all have their own good qualities, and I think that's why if you're going to get one, you have to pick one who's going to fit in with your lifestyle.
Yeah, that's the thing. If you really want to have a parrot who engages a lot with you, you really have to look at the species and also what are your circumstances. So if you only live in a one-room apartment, so having a cockatoo is maybe not the best idea. Because when you're renting an apartment, you usually have next to just a wall separates you from the neighbors, and everyone knows cockatoos can be loud, and that is loud like a jumbo jet.
And personality wise as well, because if you have a cockatoo, then that's no good if you're out sort of from 7:30 until in the morning until 7:30 at night, because then you'll never spend any time with the bed, and then it'll go a bit crazy or a lot crazy. Snowball.
No bird. Are you a wicked bird?
Oh, Snowball.
He's like, oh, look at all the pink birds.
Mm.
Such a pleasure. Now he can run behind them.
I think it's interesting to see the different personalities even between the umbrellas and the Moluccans and the Tritons, because the more you observe them, the more you can see it.
Mm. Oh,
Lucy's
he's really
threatening
annoying
Mender
Lucy.
again. Yeah.
And sure, he's sitting shy behind there. Shook, what's going on? Playing the shy girl.
And Pip's preening. She's taking some me time. She's got away from the kids for a while.
Mm. Romeo, do you still have your place? I think Snowball's more around the Moluccans at the moment. Yeah, Amanda's spinning. It's just I could watch it all day.
Yeah, he's so cute. Oh, there's a funny comment from Aditya who says, I'm planning to get a cockatoo once I have an outside aviary. I don't mind losing a finger or two. I've got 10.
Yeah. I think Don got at least 2 or 3 ear piercings now from Lucy. I think 2 weeks ago. So Lucy tried to hitchhike on Don's ear. So yeah, always be prepared for that when you have large cockatoos. With small ones, it doesn't hurt that much. So when my budgie thinks he needs to hitchhike at my ear, so it's not comfortable, but I don't think it's that hurtful or painful as when Lucy decides to.
Yeah, and Don's come close to losing a few fingers as well, I think.
Yeah, but as long as I'm left with at least 3, I should be able to work.
Oh, well, Bubbly's in and the bucket's in, so we're all ready for the arrival of Cecil.
Sea salt.
And Pippa's on the move again.
Such a sweet Pip girl, saying hi to us. Oh, I think she has seen the iPhone. She says, oh, there's a lonely iPhone.
Oh, look at Snowball.
Cecil bird. Cecil bird.
That comes the awaited moment where our famous boy Cecil arrives. Bobbaloo, bobbaloo.
Yeah, Bob's yelling. Oh, he stopped. He was yelling for a second.
Pippa got Romeo's place.
Poor Romeo.
There's
Bucket Boy. In he goes.
And he's sitting on his bucket.
Okay, guys, that's it for today. Whoops. Making a mess of things again. Let's see. There we are. That's it for today, folks. We'll see you on Wednesday, I hope. Maybe we'll know more about.
Don.
Oh, yeah. Thank you for being
Don,
here, Eleanor.
and thanks everyone who showed up to the live and asked questions and say such a nice chat today. So have all a great time and hope to see you soon.
Okay. Thanks, Amy. Thanks, Eleanor.